John Cena does the unthinkable. We have a new WWE Women's World Champion as Nattie is getting ready to rumble at Bloodsport and NWA. Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of No Holds Barred. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Postmedia wrestling writer Jan Murphy and WWE Superstar Nattie Neidhart, whose bi-weekly columns you can find exclusively at the Toronto Sun. Nattie's latest about the crazy weekend that was at Elimination Chamber. And that's where we got to start, guys. Jan, you and I were in the press box at Rogers Center, sitting next to each other, just watching in disbelief as John Cena turned heel for the first time in over 2 decades. It's been quite a long time. We can even say that. And we know it's been teased before, but it finally happened. Shocking, the 38,000 plus in attendance. I know you had quite a reaction in the press box when it was all going down, but now that you've had some time to digest, what do you think of what happened on Saturday?
Well, I mean, if you notice, I am dressed in the corporate attire today, so I've clearly gotten aboard Dwayne Johnson's train wherever it's headed. I mean, yeah, I had a reaction. I can't say that it's ultimately all that surprising when you look at where it went, but certainly how it all played out was a shock to everyone. The expletive, which we never see on TV, was the thing that most jumped out to me. And just the way it all played out and how badly Cody was beaten in the process, I think was really important in how you want to sell John Cena as a bad guy. He can't just be bad. He's got to be awful, because you're talking about the face of this company for the last 15 years, the proverbial baby face, the baby kisser, the Make-A-Wish granter. So he's got to find a dark place and stay there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do with this.
Nattie, really was a where were you moment. So where were you, and what was your reaction when you saw it go down?
Oh, Jan hit the nail on the head. Like I was, because this is just like so shocking for so many people. Like I didn't believe it when I saw it, because like Jan said, like John Cena has granted the most Make-A-Wishes ever. Like he's the ultimate babyface. If you look up babyface in the dictionary, it's John Cena right next to it. So it's like nobody expected it unless you watch Total Divas. Because listen, I said this in a tweet, but I was on every season of Total Divas, and John's house rules were very strict. Like you always had to take your shoes off at the door. You always had to keep your. He was like, one of those types that you always have to have a coaster underneath your cup. So I knew that there was a heel turn coming. I knew it. I could feel it a mile away. No, but I mean, he's just the ultimate. He's actually such a sweetheart. In real life, John's one of the nicest, most genuine, compassionate, kind, giving people that you'll ever meet. And extremely generous. I know, because he got me a really incredible wedding gift. He bought me something from Louis Vuitton that he was like, listen, if you ever like fall on hard times, you can sell this. So he's just such a sweetheart. So when I was watching it go down, I was like, oh my gosh, like if this is his last year, of course this has to happen, because we're never going to get that heel turn ever again if this is really his last year. And like, it kind of all made sense, but it still felt like so shocking, because he's, everybody just loves John so much, and he's such a good person. So I am so intrigued. And this is what I love about WWE, is that it's like this great book that you just want to see what the next chapter is. So it's got everybody sort of on the edge of their seats. And of course it did record numbers. As far as social media goes, it like broke every social media record that we have. As far as like, people just were intrigued. Everybody kept watching it. And like, you've seen John Cena and The Rock wrestle against each other. And now with this alignment and, with Cody Rhodes now being the ultimate babyface, I just want to see them, I want to see what they're going to do. And I want to see what the hell Travis Scott's going to do too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rob, can we just declare Toronto the center of the wrestling universe after the latest like magnanimous moment that has happened there? I mean, we had the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. We've had The Rock versus Hulk Hogan with that incredible transcending moment. We had John Cena return in Toronto last year and say he was retiring. And now we have John Cena turning heel in Toronto. I don't know that there's a city that has enjoyed more industry-defining moments than Toronto.
Yeah, it really is remarkable what
Toronto's
Toronto and
amazing.
Canadian WWE fans have been able to witness over the last 30 plus years with WWE. It's really remarkable, and it's interesting. You guys mentioned the direction that this could go in. And Jan, you were in the post event press conference where The Rock was there, and he kind of talked about this long term storyline build that they've been doing here. And I think based on what we saw on Saturday, we may think we know where this is going, but I don't think we really do. I think there's going to be a lot more twists and turns that are truly going to be unexpected.
I agree when The Rock said he's excited about how excited John is about where he's going with this character. I was like, okay, I'm all in.
Me too.
I'm all in.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy run up here as we're on the road to WrestleMania. Speaking of the Wild Week in WWE, that continued on Monday. Natty, a stunning victory by Iyo Sky over Rhea Ripley on Raw to win the Women's World Championship. I know Iyo is someone you know very well. What did you think seeing that result?
I was so excited for Iyo. All of us girls were backstage watching the match. We actually all watched it from Gorilla, which it's like Gorilla is right. It's the place that you go right before you walk through the curtain. It's named after Gorilla Monsoon, and it's like it's kind of a like off limits area unless you're about to go out through the curtain. But I think Triple H knew that we were all so excited to watch Iyo versus Rhea that we all wanted to watch it and be up close and personal, especially when Iyo walked back walked back after the match. I was just so excited for her because Iyo is someone that I've wrestled and that I feel like after working with her, I wrestled her in a Queen of the Ring tournament I think it was last May. But last year I wrestled her in a match. It was a singles match that was so special to me. And I said to my husband, TJ, who's a producer in WWE, I said, I love wrestling Iyo. I said, she might be one of my favorite people I've ever wrestled. Like, I just loved working with her from the second that I locked up with her. I knew she was so passionate. And she's come and she's trained with me in the dungeon a couple times. She's come down and trained. And like every time we've gotten in the ring together, it's just been so much fun. Like it's such a nice collaboration of two different styles coming together. Yet I feel like I just see so much stuff that I like, so much of her technique and her style. Like I love it. Like I love her roots. I love the grittiness, and she's so solid. But she can do anything on the ground, but she can also fly. There's really nothing that Iyo can't do, and I feel like every single female that she's worked with, she's complimented. She's brought great matches out of everyone. So getting to see her win this women's championship, I feel like no one expected that either. Everybody was expecting Rhea Ripley to go into WrestleMania 41 as the women's champion. So in some ways, I feel like in a lot of ways, this is an exciting little twist for them too. Because what I like about WWE is the level of unpredictability. That like Triple H said, sometimes predictable is good, but then being unpredictable is even better because nobody saw this coming. Now I want to see what's going to happen between Iyo and Rhea and Bianca. I'm looking at it going, there's lots of unfinished business. And I don't know, I feel like the situation between Bianca and Rhea at the end of the match, I feel like it left a lot of unanswered questions. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen next. But Iyo deserves this. She is an unbelievable talent. She is a leader in the ring. And she deserves this as much as anyone. So I'm so genuinely happy for her, truly.
Yeah, Jan, there seems to be a lot of pathways that WWE can go here now, having gone with this result. It just really shocked a lot of people, as we just touched on. What did you make of it?
I mean, I always focus when somebody wins a championship. I think about the person who helped them win it, and that's Rhea. It's Rhea's job when they go out there to have this match, and Iyo is going to win this match, to make sure she makes her look like a strong champion, because Rhea is so strong. She is untouchable, right? And I thought she did a great job, and I do wonder where it goes from here with her. You certainly can't have Rhea just break off and have another singles match that doesn't mean anything at WrestleMania, or maybe doesn't mean as much. Every match at WrestleMania means something, but I think she stays in this picture. I just don't know how she fits into it yet, but I'm intrigued.
All right. Lastly, a couple of big announcements from you, Nattie, this past week. First, you'll be competing at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport XIII in Vegas, April 17th. And then exactly 1 month later, you'll be taking part in the NWA's Crockett Cup. What can you tell us about how this all came together?
Oh, I mean, I've been waiting to announce those two events because Bloodsport is Josh Burnett's Bloodsport is with GCW, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Last year I watched Shayna Baszler face Masha Slamovich in Bloodsport. I went to the show. Myself, along with many other WWE talent, we were all backstage. We wanted to see Shayna fight Masha. So when I was at that show, I said to Josh Barnett after, I said, this is incredible. Like, I would love to be a part of this. So I've been wanting to be a part of it for a very, very long time. And as far as NWA, and well, with the Bloodsport aspect as well, it's something that's totally different. It's something that I want to see how I can do in that space. I really like, especially with having trained in the dungeon and having worked closely with, my cousin Harry Smith has done Bloodsport. He's an incredible grappler, and that dungeon style is a lot about grappling, but it's something that like I was like, I really want to see how I can do in this space. It's going to be such a great challenge for me. For me, I've had 2,000 ish wrestling matches in WWE. I have a world record for the most matches of any woman in WWE history, but I've never really done anything quite like this. I did the underground match last year with Lola. I loved that match. It was amazing. Here's my kitty. There he is.
Yeah.
Cameo, yeah.
He just got neutered today, so he's had a day.
On
top of everything else we've gone through today, he got neutered. So that was his little IV. But
he's having a worse day than I am.
He's having a day. He's on some painkillers, so he's okay. But yeah, between that and the car, it was a day. But so I felt like this was such a fresh opportunity with me to do Bloodsport. It was something totally different. I really, really wanted the challenge, and because Shayna had done it last year, I was like, why can't I do it? I would love to do it. And then with NWA, Billy Corgan is a really good friend of mine. I've known Billy since 2006. I met Billy at Brett's 2006 Hall of Fame induction. And, he introduced himself to me and said he was a huge wrestling fan, not just WWE fan, but Billy loves wrestling. So knowing how much Billy Corgan loves wrestling and loves like the industry and knowing what he does with NWA, I've been to a few of the NWA shows. Billy wants to give aspiring wrestlers and wrestlers that, he wants to give wrestlers in general, men and women, he wants to give them a chance to do what they love. With NWA, it's the oldest, next to AAA or CMLL, it's the oldest wrestling promotion in the world. So Billy, he creates so many opportunities for guys and girls to do what they love and to do it on that platform. And it's the way that he ran the show. It was just so professional, so well done. The talent, everybody, it's kind of like a family backstage. It's really got that family vibe. And Billy, of course, being a massive rock star. I mean, Billy Corgan sells out. I was at one of his shows at MSG and it was sold out. And so he's still such a massive, massive rock star that the way he puts on his shows, it's different than obviously a rock concert, but there's that level of like professionalism that's like you don't always see on the indies. So for me, I was very intrigued to do his show. I love Billy. He's a close friend of mine. One little story, when in 2005, I tore my ACL. And then 2006, I was recovering. And that's when I met Billy at the Hall of Fame ceremony. And I was at the end of my rope. And I met Billy and he was like, I was just telling him like, maybe wrestling's not for me. And it was just a really like hard time for me going through that injury. And Billy was one of the people that was like, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. You can do this. You can do this. And like, he really pushed me in 2006 to keep going. And so I always remembered his words and just like, being really inspiring and really motivating. And he like, this big rock star is like believing in me. He's telling me to keep going. He's telling me not to give up. And he was just so kind and so like, hey, if you ever need anything, you can always reach out to me. I'm always going to be an ear for you if you need to talk, whatever. I remember that over 20 years later. And or nearly 20 years later. And so for me to do the NWA show, I approached Billy Corgan and I said, listen, I want to do your show. I want to give back in a way that you help me so much, but also to do NWA and to do Bloodsport, both those shows. I'm very proud to say that I approached WWE about doing both of those shows because I I am a workhorse and I love to wrestle. And come hell or high water, I'm going to wrestle. Whether it's in my ring on a Wednesday night, training with people, working on my craft, helping others, others helping me. It doesn't matter. I love wrestling. And so for me, I want to earn my way back into the women's division in WWE by doing what I love and showing people that not only did I never lose it, but that I'm better than I've ever been. So with Bloodsport and with NWA, to me, I'm ready to rise to the occasion, but I'm also ready to blow everybody's minds. I'm ready for everyone to see a totally different side of me, and I'm also ready to be a champion.
So
And I plan on doing that. So, to me, I'm literally moved heaven and earth to do those shows. It was a very big deal. And WWE has been very, very supportive of me doing those shows. But there have been a lot of people that haven't believed in me. And I understand. Like, I get it. I don't need to point fingers. I don't need to say names, but I get it. And as frustrating as it can feel sometimes, like when you're like on the outside looking in or on the inside looking out, for me, like the only thing that I know how to do is work hard, stay positive and work hard and to just bust my ass and show everybody that I belong. And that's what I'm doing with these shows. And there's a lot more to come. So I'm genuinely excited to show people what I can do, and that I plan on blowing everybody away.
So safe to say, Nattie, at Bloodsport, you'll be smashing pumpkins.
I like it. Look, I know I can speak for Jen. We're super excited to watch you in those matches coming up over the next couple of months. And ready to run through a wall based on that motivational speech. I think you just gave all of us. But should be a lot of fun to watch Nattie back in the ring. April 17th at Bloodsport 13 in Vegas, and then May 17th at the Crockett Cup for the NWA. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Nattie Neidhart, Jan Murphy, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.